Thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
Tonight, nearly every one of Georgia's 159 counties is reporting coronavirus cases as the outbreak spreads. Overall, more than 5,400 people in Georgia have tested positive. 176 people have died. Georgia has now processed more than 23,000 COVID-19 tests for a state with a population of 10 million. I'm Jeff Hollinger, working from my home tonight. I am in Midtown Atlanta. Glad to have you aboard this evening.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy. Governor Kemp has signed a statewide order, a shelter-in-place order. It will take effect tomorrow starting at 6 p.m. and end Monday, April 13th at 11:59 p.m. Now, residents are only allowed to leave their home to get food and medical supplies for their families. You can exercise outside but remain 6 feet away from anyone else. The order says that anyone who violates it will be guilty of a misdemeanor. The statewide order is meant to eliminate the confusion with cities and counties declaring their own orders, with some closing parks, others leaving them open, and varying definitions of which businesses can continue to operate, also adding to the confusion. 11Alive's Doug Richards explains.
Athens Clarke County has been living with a shelter-in-place order for the last 2 weeks now, and it offers a glimpse as to how it could work statewide.
So in Athens, we've had shelter in place for 2 weeks now.
Normally, Athens is one of Georgia's liveliest small towns, but nowadays,
yeah, it's been a ghost town at night.
Jim Wilson runs the 40 Watt, a well-known downtown Athens music venue which temporarily closed down as a non-essential business under the local government's shelter-in-place order. Yet Wilson is upbeat about it.
I kind of feel like we're a few weeks ahead of the rest of the state. No offense, Georgia, but Athens is doing pretty well here.
Athens Clarke County's shelter-in-place order lists 18 non-essential businesses ordered to temporarily close, from music venues to bars to clothing and furniture stores. But the order exempts 60 businesses, allowing everything from attorneys and car washes to gun stores and takeout restaurants to continue to operate. The city's shelter-in-place order allows people to go outside, which on this warm spring day they did. And it allows enforcement. But Mayor Kelly Gertz says it's not about arresting violators.
We've been explicit that that's not going to be one of our mechanisms of enforcement. We didn't want anyone thinking that this was Tiananmen Square in 1989.
My directive is not to go around and lock a bunch of people up. What we want to do is get people to comply with this.
Governor Kemp said much the same thing Wednesday, saying the state order would mostly depend on Georgians policing themselves. Gertz says that has worked in Athens.
I've seen people live in person and on social media call each other out. We do have a text hotline and a web hotline as well, so that it can be reported to us if there are those out there, either individuals in the community or businesses that need some guidance.
Gertz says he was among a number of Georgia mayors who wrote Governor Kemp urging him to enact a statewide shelter-in-place order. Kemp's order becomes effective tomorrow.
We have Georgia's complete shelter-in-place order available for you to read right now on 11alive.com. For a link, all you have to do is text the word shelter to the number on your screen. It's 404-885-7600. Again, that's a text, not a call. And a reminder that this shelter-in-place order does not mean people need to go out and overstock up on supplies. We all remember these photos from weeks ago. Empty shelves, packed stores, not to mention that shortage of toilet paper. Remember, one universal thing with all of these shelter-in-place orders is that grocery stores, hospitals, pharmacies, and gas stations all remain open.
One small community that has been particularly hit has been Dougherty County. A month ago, if somebody would have brought up Dougherty County, you might not have known where it was or that Albany was in that county in Georgia. But now, after 500 cases and 29 deaths, we all know where Dougherty County is. That's more deaths than any other county in Georgia. That includes Fulton, DeKalb, Cobb, Gwinnett, and even though its population is about a tenth of the size of Fulton County. People who live there told 11Alive's Caitlin Ross that everybody in this community knows someone who has died from the virus.
Normally, it's a lot of kissing and a lot of hugging and a lot of handshaking, and so we have had to adjust.
Pastor Mathis Wright knows a lot of people who have died from coronavirus in Albany, including some of his extended family members. He says the hardest part is not being able to grieve them with a public funeral.
All of that is non-existence now. So that's what I've been hearing in our community is just the sorrow for people not being able to go where family members pass and family members can't go to their burial.
Yolanda Brown's husband just got out of the hospital after testing positive for COVID-19, but she's lost many people she loves to the virus.
I've lost family and friends. I had a cousin to pass, a god brother, some real close friends, some spiritual mothers.
She says people in Albany are struggling to stay positive.
A lot of people are praying, but a lot of people are sad. Some are getting depressed.
Pastor Wright says he's trying to encourage his congregation through it.
We have to still endure in faith, and then sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's long-suffering, but there's always, with every storm, there's always an end to it.
There is help underway. The governor has sent 2 National Guard medic teams to support healthcare workers. The state has also shipped supplies and plans to send more to Phoebe Putney Hospital in Albany. The governor says they have been able to add beds at Phoebe North, relieve some of the issues there, and they expect Phoebe North to be ready to treat patients by early next week.
In 1 month, Georgia has gone from record employment to record unemployment. The number of people filing claims hit a new high today, both here in Georgia and across the nation. Tonight, Joe Hinkie shares some positive news about the state's ability to clear this backlog of new claims.
A record number of people in Georgia filing for unemployment, out of work because of the COVID-19 outbreak. Common complaints 11Alive is hearing from unemployed viewers. The Department of Labor's number often busy, and some viewers say they email about their claims but have yet to hear back. But a spokesperson with the Department of Labor told 11Alive they processed 100,000 claims yesterday alone as they clear the backlog. Here's a look at the recent tsunami of unemployment claims. Before COVID-19, around 5,000 people per week filed for unemployment. In the weekend ending March 21st, more than 12,000 filed claims. Numbers released today show 133,000 filed claims last week, more claims than during the peak of the Great Recession a decade ago. Nationally, the picture looks similar. For the week ending March 21st, a record 3.3 million filed for unemployment. Then last week, that number doubled to 6.6 million.
This continues on that path, then we're talking about numbers that we've never seen before.
Tom Smith, economist and professor at the Guizetta Business School at Emory, says unemployment rates will jump significantly and could hit record highs if the pandemic drags on for several more weeks or months.
In Georgia, we might have unemployments of 30%.
Nationally, Smith says the rate could be even higher. CNBC reports the St. Louis Federal Reserve Bank predicting a national unemployment rate of 32% during the second quarter of this year. Several models currently predict COVID-19 activity in Georgia hitting a peak around April 22nd. Smith says it could take 6 to 10 weeks after that date for employers to rehire.
Then it depends on how business owners are understanding the new economic climate, whether or not consumers are going back to spending patterns the way that they did.
Well, if you are looking for a job, several places are hiring. Here's a quick list for you, just to name a few. Amazon, CVS, Dollar General, and major grocery store chains like Publix and Kroger are also looking to fill positions. We're keeping track of companies that are hiring. You can find a full list in the As Seen on TV section of the 11Alive app.
A military veteran with an underlying medical condition now sitting in ICE detention in Ocilla, Georgia tonight after he was detained by ICE officials outside of his home in Douglasville. His wife says that she is worried his health could take a turn for the worse while he is detained during the pandemic. Here's Elwin Lopez with more on his story.
I do have concern with the pandemic because my husband is high risk to begin with, so that can kill him.
Sasha Green says her husband Fitzroy, better known as Bobby, is diabetic. Born in Jamaica, he came to the U.S. when he was just 13, served in the military, and 2 weeks ago was detained outside his home in Douglasville.
He says, Sash, this is immigration. And I was like, immigration for what?
Bobby is a permanent resident. She says his application for U.S. citizenship was denied due to a felony on his record for armed robbery from more than 20 years ago.
I thought that, marrying a U.S. citizen and having family and being a veteran, that all of those things would count.
In a statement to 11Alive, ICE says the 51-year-old was convicted of armed robbery in New York in 1994. He was convicted again of possession with intent to distribute marijuana and 2 counts of aggravated assault in 2008. He is currently in ICE custody pending removal proceedings before a federal immigration judge.
There are people that are in our country that do worse things and they're here and they don't get deported anywhere because this is their home, right? Well, this is my husband's home too. This is where he's grown up. This is where he's had his family in this. And I just think that it sucks. It sucks. Because he would have died for this country.
Coming up next, another sign things will not be coming back to normal anytime soon. How the Democrats are now changing things up for their presidential convention coming up in.
And we are bringing you updates on the coronavirus outbreak, all 3 hours of prime time on air and on our 11Alive YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and join in on the conversation in the community section. There's more 11Alive news in prime time after the break.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects.
There's a lot of information to sort through every day about COVID-19, so here are 3 stories that you might have missed. The Democratic National Convention has been delayed. It's now scheduled for the week of August 17th, still to be held in Milwaukee. The move comes after prospective nominee Joe Biden said he didn't think it was possible to hold a normal convention in July because of coronavirus. The Republican convention is also scheduled for late August in Charlotte. Best Buy temporarily closing its store off Sydney Markets Boulevard to customers. The store instead implementing drive-through only service. Customers will place an order and an employee will bring it to their car. The goal is to maintain social distancing guidelines. According to the manager, the store will still serve close to 200 customers each day. The coronavirus pandemic leading companies to lay off more than 1,000 people who work at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Companies that employ TSA workers, gate agents, gourmet services, and more are all cutting back. According to our partners at the Atlanta Business Chronicle, the layoffs began March 22nd and run through April 30th.
Vice President Mike Pence is giving a grim assessment to the American public that the coronavirus could spread even quicker than it has gone through Italy. That was the pronouncement today. And according to Johns Hopkins University, more than 13,000 people there have died from the virus. Dr. Anthony Fauci, member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, says although New York is the epicenter of the United States outbreak right now, we are going to see the same spread in other large cities. He was on the Today Show this morning, and he stressed that in order to stop the spread, people have got to stay at home.
This is inconvenient from an economic and a personal standpoint, but we just have to do it. That is our major weapon against this virus right now. We don't have a vaccine that's deployable. This is the only thing we have, and we can get through it if everybody really leans forward and pushes on this.
He also urges the United States to look at their stay-at-home orders, that all of the states, all of the governors should assess what they are doing and then consider which exemptions are appropriate in the individual cases.
As you heard from Dr. Fauci there is no vaccine to stop the spread of COVID-19. It could be a year before one is ready. Chris Vanderveen with our sister station in Denver shows us how easy a disease can spread without a vaccination and what we can do to slow the rise in cases.
Bloop. See that? That's you. And you have the measles. And those dots around you, they have zero protection against the virus. Science tells us eventually you will infect upwards of 15 other dots, thanks to something known as an R naught. Yep, R naught, a fancy term that tells you how contagious a disease is. The R naught of measles, around 15. The R naught of smallpox, 6. Both are very contagious, but measles remains rare, and no one gets smallpox anymore. Credit the rise of vaccinations, an effective shield against contagion. Maybe a few dots received one, maybe that one didn't. But see what it does to the spread? Now let's take the new coronavirus. Its R naught of 2 or 3 suggests it's not as harmful. But as of now, no one has protection. There is no vaccine. So you and your dot could infect 2 or 3. And those 2 or 3 could infect 4 or 5. And so on and so on. In the U.S., the number of cases is doubling every 3 days. A true case of exponential growth. But let's say you decide to social distance and only infect 1, not 2 or 3. Your neighbor doesn't go to work. Your coworker doesn't hit the park. A stranger stays home. Infections can still happen, but the odds of any one dot infecting 2 or 3 others decreases thanks to distance. The contagion slows. Exponential growth turns into linear growth, if not this. Until there is an effective treatment or a vaccine, physical distancing represents the best odds, say infectious disease experts, one by one, connecting the dots by doing nothing more than disconnecting them.
Well, we had some good news this morning. After that chilly start with temperatures in the lower 40s, our pollen count has responded to this cooler air, and it's kind of inhibiting the release of some of those pollen particles. So our pollen count today was lower than it has been. We've moved from the extremely high range to the high range, with a pollen count today below 1,974. The main pollens are pine, oak, sweet gum, sycamore, and also willow. We're not really dealing with any grasses or weeds, and the mold is in the low range. And it's going to stay dry over the next couple of days, but the cooler air is going to go away and we're going to start warming up. So I wish I could tell you that we would continue this trend of falling pollen counts, but this is due to, number one, it was really warm and dry over the weekend and into Monday where we had those high counts, but we had some rain around that helped these numbers to come down a little bit, and the cooler air is a big factor with that too. That's why our number today is on the low end and yesterday's number lower because of the cooler air in place. But we're going to be warming up, even though it's going to be dry, and we're going to see those pollen counts coming back up again. So tonight it's going to be chilly. We're going to see, well, instead of chilly, let's just say cool, as those temperatures start trending down during the evening hours. We'll be in the 50s by 9 and 10 o'clock. Dropping into the 40s in the morning. So another cool start tomorrow, but not as cool as it was today. We're going to be at about 47 degrees to start off early in the morning and then get up to 75 in the afternoon hours. So a 10 on the wasometer, that's our scale from 1 to 11, where at 11 is a perfect day. You can see with the forecast track where we're going to be dry out there tonight, and then starting tomorrow, we're going to have just a couple of clouds trying to come in from the west, mixing in with that sunshine at times. They're not going to give us any rain though. And Saturday, pretty much the same thing, but I do think we'll see a few more clouds coming in from the west during the day on Saturday, at times blocking out a little bit more of that sunshine. It's really going to be late Sunday in North Georgia, a low risk for a shower, and then into Monday, a low risk for a shower. The best rain chances come in here by Tuesday, and we may even have some thunder with that too. So 75 for a high Friday, a few more clouds Saturday, and 76. There's that 20% chance for a shower both Sunday and Monday with highs in the upper 70s. Tuesday is the day with the highest rain chance at 40%. With highs near 76, back to a 20% chance for a shower for Wednesday, and then dry again Thursday with highs right around 79 to near 80 degrees.
All right, Chris, thank you. Melvin and Claire Vatz's music has a great propensity toward bringing people together, but one is reaching people more than any other, a song that they love to perform, and they have been able to connect people from all around the world without taking a single step outside.
We're all homebound. How long will we still be homebound?
We have a long tradition of doing these kind of songs for family gatherings, you know, sort of silly parody type of songs.
Home, keeping social distance. Home, without friends' assistance. Home, at government's insistence. Stuck in our houses.
We sent it out to friends and family just to cheer them up, basically, and we just never dreamed it would get to so many people in so many places.
I try to work from my PC, but soon the fridge is calling me. I eat some snacks, turn on TV. Without Netflix, what would life be?
There is this sense of, you know, these kind of crises bring people together, and I mean, our song is just a little example of something like that.
So please just stay in your own space. Don't shave so you don't touch your face.
It's just great to laugh and, you know, not focus on the negative part of what's happening here.
The curve will flatten, we'll have seen the ending to COVID-19.
Simon and Garfunkel would be very proud of that rendition of their classic tune from the late 1960s. What are the best apps to ensure business continues in a world of social distancing? What should be on your list? That's coming up next.
Live's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
The impact of COVID-19 is massive. In the new norm of social distancing, we are depending on more connections and devices to reach out to one another more than ever. Last week, we told you about the virtual ways to stay connected with family and friends. And tonight, Liza Lucas looks to experts for ways employees can stay in touch.
Virtual workouts, book clubs, and town halls, you name it, it's online right now. But how is the 9-to-5 world dealing with social distancing?
I think of all the video conferencing services, Zoom just gets mentioned a lot more because it's easy to use, it's straightforward, they've got a mobile app. Slack is another one where you'd consider your water cooler talk, right? Channels for topics, and people can go in there and subscribe or unsubscribe and then pay attention to the conversations that make sense.
For those who need to get creative, there are other options.
Businesses are having to learn how to brainstorm without a whiteboard, right? So this is where web-based apps come in. Whiteboard Fox is the simplest. It doesn't require a login and it's free. And then there's more complex and robust whiteboarding tools like Mural.
Mural, a digital whiteboard that lets users add drawings and stickies. But it's more than the corporate world adapting.
We're also seeing some of these concerts and whatnot happening on Instagram. A lot of these applications are starting to be used in ways that maybe they weren't intended originally. For a lot of these companies, it's going to open up new arenas for them that they've never thought of before.
Hey, heads up as you work from home. According to CNBC, about half of large companies use some type of monitoring techniques to keep tabs on their employees. But if you're off the clock and a budding entrepreneur, now could be the time to bring your own vision to reality.
You got nowhere to go, got time on your hands, and so you have a great opportunity to launch a new company right now.
Well, next, the governor is extending the shutdown of K-12 public schools for the remainder of the academic year. The impact this will have on teachers, students, and parents nationwide.
For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray.
I want to encourage my fellow Georgians to hang in there. I know that you're tired of this, but we must first overcome the obstacles that we have in our path.
The spread of coronavirus forcing Governor Kemp to take stronger measures to keep Georgians safe. Today, he signed the statewide shelter in place, which goes into effect tomorrow. He also ordered all schools will remain closed for the rest of the academic year. Online learning, though, will continue.
Tonight, Governor Kemp is addressing criticism about something he said at his news conference Wednesday. He said he recently learned that many people who do not show symptoms can spread coronavirus, and that was a big factor in his decision to sign a statewide shelter-in-place order.
You know, finding out that this virus is now transmitting before people see signs. So what we've been telling people from directives from the CDC for weeks now, that if you start feeling bad, stay home. Those individuals could have been infecting people before they ever felt bad.
Well, there have been criticisms lodged at the governor that he should have known about asymptomatic spread long before. Federal health officials have been talking about that possibly as early as January. We reached out to the governor's office. A spokesperson says the governor makes it very clear that updated CDC guidance as of March 30th changed the Department of Health's recommendation regarding more aggressive action. This updated guidance and updated modeling led to the Department of Public Health updating its protocols for contact tracing, community mitigation, and testing. The idea that people carry the virus without having symptoms is not new. However, the CDC did give more specifics about coronavirus and the way it spreads Monday, March 30th. That day, the director of the CDC did an interview with WABE Radio. He gave the specific statistics that up to 1 in 4 people with the virus will not show symptoms. The governor and Dr. Toomey with the Department of Health mentioned that stat a few times in the news conference. The CDC also mentioned people can spread the virus up to 48 hours before showing symptoms, and it released new guidance on asymptomatic infections that reflects that data. So even though there has been talk about asymptomatic spread since January, we can verify that as of Monday, the CDC gave more detailed and concrete information. The governor and the commissioner of the Georgia Department of Public Health talked about it at length during the hour-long news conference yesterday. You can watch it in full right now on the 11Alive YouTube page.
Tonight, Morehouse College is reducing its summer classes, and they are moving others online to protect students from the pandemic. The University System of Georgia also says its schools will remain online throughout the summer for the most part. The announcements come on the heels of the governor's order closing public school campuses through the end of the school year while continuing online learning. The order says it is up to each district to establish the final day, and faculty and staff will still be asked to return to campus for essential services. Latasha Givens reached out to some of our biggest districts to find out more about the impact.
We reached out to some of the larger school districts in the metro to find out what the rest of the school year looks like from a logistical standpoint. Some of the plans differ, but one thing remains: teaching and learning continues, just not inside the classroom. During a video press conference, APS Superintendent Maria Kerstoffen says teaching and learning hasn't stopped.
Schools are open. Our teachers are teaching, our leaders are leading, our students are learning.
Kerstoffen says APS has had two main issues during the digital learning days: technology and food service. With technology, it's a matter of having enough learning devices and distributing them inside the homes, and making sure the technology is in sync district-wide. The second, breakfast and lunch for those who need it, both of which she says are primarily resolved. As for what this means for grading GPAs and making it to the next grade,
we dismantled our online testing.
APS says it also plans to issue hero pay to essential employees who have to report on site starting April 13th. We also reached out to the other top districts around the metro. Gwinnett County Schools says it has teams of people working out details like graduation, summer school, and registration. But for now, they sent us a statement reading in part, digital instruction as well as the feeding of children is essential business. We have the means to provide our students with stability in a time of tremendous turmoil, and it is our duty and intent to do so. DeKalb County Schools says it too is working out details, sending us this statement. More information will be forthcoming about the action plans for graduation, grading, promotion and retention, summer learning programs for remediation, enrichment and recovery. We also spoke to the Georgia Department of Education to find out if there would be any uniformity when it comes to plans for the rest of the school year. They told us each district will make their own independent decisions based on their specific needs. We also reached out to Cobb County Schools as well as Clayton County Schools. Once we have their response, we'll put it on our website at 11alive.com.
And as the rest of the schools around the state now close for the remainder of this academic year because of the pandemic, parents certainly are deeply troubled by this, but kids are too. Their anxiety levels now have been amped up, and that is something that psychiatrist Dr. Suvrant Bhargave says that we should acknowledge.
I think the important thing is to let kids know that it's okay to be more anxious right now. Another word for anxiety is doubt or uncertainty, and right now there's a lot of both. So by validating that, you're not only opening up lines of communication, but you're helping them release that feeling and let them know that they're not alone, and then let them know that there are ways to manage their anxiety.
If you notice your child showing any signs of anxiousness, he says parents can strive to keep things as predictable as possible. Let the kids feel in control from time to time and make sure that connecting with them is a priority.
Right now, there's so much about a child's life that feels very unpredictable. By giving them a schedule, you give them a sense of security. You can involve them in this as well by asking them what they think their schedule should be. It's really important as kids are distancing themselves that they still feel connected to others. FaceTime, texting, emailing, but also writing a letter or a note, maybe to their grandparents.
Again, he says you want to make sure that your kids are connected to their friends, to their family, to their community.
Being emotionally well means staying in touch with your therapist, your counselor, your psychiatrist. This is not the time to isolate. This is the time to be reassured, connected, and to have the tools that you need so you can be emotionally strong.
It is such a tough time for kids and parents trying to juggle this new reality. We put together a resource guide to help you get through it. You can find it in the As Seen on TV section of the 11Alive app.
Well, the calendar has been cleared. No after-school activities and days of digital learning. It's left students of all ages with more time on their hands. But one Alpharetta student is using his time to help. Here's Matt Pearl.
Perhaps you've noticed, as I have, an increase in flower photos on your timelines. Perhaps it's because the coronavirus outbreak has so many seeking reminders of simple, unfiltered beauty and finding them when they take walks around their neighborhoods and go out of their homes. But what about those who can't go out?
People can't really see them, or they're, going to FaceTime.
Braxton Chadwick is a senior in high school. Next fall, he'll head to Savannah State. And right now,
I have nothing but time on my hands, so why not provide a little joy?
Braxton thought about two other seniors. There's his grandmother in an assisted living facility, who he only sees now through a screen. And then there's his grandfather, who runs a greenhouse in Ackworth with a month's worth of flowers,
whose orders were canceled.
Thousands of flowers looking good for no one right now. So I was like, hey, like, do you mind if I get them from you and then I can do what I want with them? And he's like, go for it.
Braxton started Bloom to a Room. People can donate a flower. Braxton will drop them off outside nursing homes around the area. The first batch went Wednesday to his grandmother's facility.
We gave him one for every room. One of the ladies who works at the front desk, she got to give everyone their meal that night and add a little something to it with the flower.
Braxton's goal, 2,500 deliveries of flowers from a senior in high school to senior citizens region-wide.
So this is a way, you know, to say, hey, like, we're not really forgetting about you, you know, we're just outside.
They were considered a source in the spread of the Zika virus, but are mosquitoes contributing to the spread of coronavirus too? We verify coming up next.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Good news for senior citizens who will not have to file a tax return to get a stimulus check after all. The Trump administration had previously said those who don't have to file taxes were going to be required to file a return to get their checks. That decision was reversed after some strong criticism from lawmakers. And we're also learning today the first direct deposits will happen within 2 weeks.
I had previously said this would take us 3 weeks. I'm pleased to report that within 2 weeks, the first payments will be direct deposit into taxpayers' account. And as the president said, last night the president authorized me to say that anybody that has Social Security recipients won't need to file a new tax return and will have that.
For those without direct deposit information, it could still be weeks or even months before you get yours, though. Let's take a look at the timeline here. According to memos from the Trump administration, the direct deposit payments will start the week of April 13th. The IRS estimates that about 60 million people will receive their checks at that point. 3 weeks later, the week of May 4th, the IRS will start issuing paper checks. The office that processes the checks can only mail out 5 million checks per week, so it could take 20 weeks, nearly 5 months, to get them all out. They plan to send paper checks to the lowest income Americans first. For those on Social Security, the stimulus money will still be sent to them just as their Social Security checks are. We do have a calculator that can help you figure out how much stimulus money you could get. We'll send that right to your phone. Just text the word check to the number on your screen. It's 404-885-7600.
Well, we're going to see this warmer pattern move back into our area after we had a couple of days with temperatures that were cooler than average, especially in the morning hours. You know, we had temperatures that were in the lower 40s this morning, right at 40 degrees, and that cool air that we had over us started to retreat today and move up to the north, and we actually bumped up into the upper 60s for a high today, which is right where we should be for this time of year. So that cool air retreat is going to continue tomorrow, moving up toward the north, and we'll see more warm air that'll be here with us as we finish up on Friday and going into Saturday as well. And you can see here even into Sunday, this pattern is going to stick with us with these temperatures that are pretty much going to be in the mid 70s, and even next week you can see some of the yellow colors coming in here indicating upper 70s to even near 80 degrees pushing into next week. But we will see with that warmer air a little more moisture, and we're going to go back to some rain chances once we get into next week as well. Today, though, we were right where we should be for this time of year. For our high, we hit 69. That is the average high for this time of year for today's date. But we were a lot cooler than we should be this morning. We started off at 40 degrees, and we should be at about 48 for this time of year. And no rain around, and that rainfall surplus is just above, about a foot above where we should be in rainfall for the year. So here's what we're watching with our weather headlines. We are going to be staying dry. Temperatures a little warmer each day, but we will be watching some of those showers that are going to move into our area as we head into next week. So here's a look at your day part forecast for tomorrow, starting off at 47 with sunshine. In the afternoon hours, mostly sunny skies. We'll top off at 75 degrees in the afternoon, and then we go back into the 60s during the evening hours tomorrow night, but still very comfortable with just a few clouds that'll be mixing in with the stars out there tonight. Really nice evening out there. In the morning, mostly sunny skies. Watch these clouds, though, out to the west in Alabama. They try to move our way, but as they come in, they really start breaking up a good bit. And that'll just give us partly cloudy skies during the day here for Friday. And then into Saturday, a similar pattern with that flow coming in, bringing in just a few clouds. That'll mix in with the sunshine. I do think we'll see a few more clouds Saturday afternoon compared to what we're going to be seeing here for Friday. So here's that weekend outlook. Saturday, partly cloudy skies, highs near 76, but Sunday, a few more clouds, a 20% chance for a shower with those highs right around 78 degrees. So here's the 7-day outlook. We have nice weather through the weekend, a low rain chance Sunday into Monday, and then Tuesday, that's the day with the best chance for showers at a 40% chance for that with highs near 76. And then the rain chances go down to 20% Wednesday. Thursday looking dry, mostly sunny skies with high temperatures right around 79 degrees.
As the weather warms, that means mosquito season. When we were talking about Zika a couple of years ago, mosquitoes were the primary focus. What about this time in coronavirus? Do mosquitoes play some kind of role in the transmission? Here's Liza Lucas to verify for us.
The buzz around mosquitoes is building, and inquiring minds want to know, are mosquitoes carriers of COVID-19? We checked with experts including the World Health Organization, the CDC, and Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health to answer your question. All of these experts agree there is no information or evidence to date that the new coronavirus could be transmitted by mosquitoes. The WHO even posting the news on their Mythbusters page, clarifying again that the virus is primarily spread when an infected person coughs or sneezes. So despite the itch mosquito bites can bring, based on information to date, we can verify that no, mosquitoes will not give you the coronavirus. Experts reiterate you can protect yourself by washing hands frequently or using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. And remember to avoid close contact with someone who is coughing or sneezing. Do you have something for us to verify? Send us your ideas via Facebook, Twitter, or via email at verify@11alive.com.
8 Marta employees have tested positive for COVID-19. Next, what the company is doing to ensure the safety of future passengers.
Their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
It is an eerie sight, one many Atlantans have never seen in their lifetime, nor did they think they would ever see it. The city's normally packed freeways and roads empty. All week I've been sharing these photos on my Facebook page, Jeff Hullinger, 11Alive, and these are taken from a guy by the name of William Cross, who owns a drone. About 8 or 9 months ago, he came up to me in Candler Park and said, hey, I'm a retired attorney. I live in Druid Hills, and I've got this great drone, and I like to take pictures. Can I take some pictures and send it to you? And maybe you put it on your Facebook page or do whatever you like. And I have been running those this week, and a lot of people have been looking at them, been very curious, and I'm going to keep posting these pictures here for the next few days or so. So check them out. William Cross is quite a talent with a drone and the photographs. Tonight, Marta says 8 of their employees have now tested positive for COVID-19. And the impact is even bigger because many of these employees now have to quarantine themselves to stay away from passengers. As Reveal investigator Faith Dubube reports, a video of a packed Marta bus has one rider asking, while Marta juggles safety for drivers, what about keeping everybody safe who's riding on those buses?
Riders on Marta Bus 124, too close for comfort in the age of social distancing.
Whoa!
Sauda Silvera is among the riders packed in the back of this bus.
We're toppling on each other. I don't know if you washed your hands or if you got hand sanitizer or who you interacted with or you touched something. I don't know. You're too close to me. I have no choice now.
Silvera works in security and is an essential worker. She says she's been riding on the route for 3 years to get to work. It's always busy, but she expected more space in the wake of the City of Atlanta's social distancing order.
I am very concerned.
Marta says it's taking precautions, boarding passengers through the back door and suspending bus fares to limit contact. They've also put a barrier between the drivers and the riders. And with demand and revenue down, bus service is also reduced by about 30%.
Really think it through when you was like, okay, we're just gonna go ahead and load everybody to the back. I don't think people realize how many essential workers there are, meaning in from, janitors to the hospital, people who work in the hospital.
We showed the video to Marta Chief of Bus Operations, Conley Greenwood.
That's factual, that's inarguable, and it was shocking. But it's a classic example of what I was just talking about, where despite the fact that the operator is empowered to make these decisions, we still have a case in point where the system failed.
Greenwood says even though fewer people are riding the bus, some routes are still seeing a lot of traffic. To address it, Marta has given bus drivers more power to enforce social distancing.
When the bus is at 50%, they'll call the BCC, the Bus Control Center. Bus Control Center will dispatch a new vehicle to get behind that bus and pick up for them. And that bus, as the crowding levels exceed 50% and approach 60 or 70%, they will then flip their destination sign on to read that the bus is full.
So far, it hasn't been perfect, but Marta says it's constantly adjusting.
We are committed to continuous improvement.
And that is good news for Silvera and other essential workers still riding the bus to work.
I want some reassurance too as well that whoever is in charge is also looking out for our well-beings too.
Marta is also urging riders to wait for another bus. In other words, if you are at your bus stop and you see that a bus is filled with people and then you can't keep social distancing, they ask that you be patient, wait for the next bus, which will be less crowded. And again, if you have any issues, Marta wants you to contact them directly. As for the Marta Trains, they will continue operating on a weekend schedule, but they will start at their regular weekday time to go along with the bus service. Due to extremely low ridership, the Mercedes-Benz State Farm Arena GWCC rail station will remain closed until further notice. Now, there was also some concern in Cobb County for Cobb Link buses. Faith reached out to the county and was told in the next day or two, Cobb will be instituting some new rules that will include people entering and exiting from the rear of the bus. They also have taped off some of the seats to encourage social distancing and posted signage to remind customers that, you can't sit very close to each other in these times of the pandemic. All right, tonight, a stern message from the president of the American Medical Association. What those on the front lines of the pandemic need the most. That's coming ahead on Primetime.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is
Claims about what might help you fight off coronavirus or make you more susceptible are spreading all over the internet. Take elderberry, for example. A lot of people swear by it during cold and flu season, but does it actually put you at greater risk? Our Verify team checks it out.
Social media is full of medical misinformation about COVID-19. That's why the Verify team is here to separate fact from fiction. Some people are putting out a warning about taking elderberry supplements during this pandemic. They say it can mess with your immune system by creating something called a cytokine storm. Sounds ominous. Let's verify. We contacted experts from the George Washington University, the University of Maryland, and the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Two of them have treated cytokine storm themselves. They explain that cytokines are proteins in your body that can cause inflammation. And during one of these cytokine storms, your body goes into an overactive immune system. That can ultimately lead to organ failure. We asked our experts about this 2001 paper many of those online warnings are sourcing as proof. Boiled down, the paper says that when Israeli scientists added elderberry syrup to blood, it stimulated the production of cytokines. But it never mentioned creating the dangerous cytokine storm.
I don't think you can extrapolate a whole lot from that, so I wouldn't be overly concerned.
Our experts said that cytokine storm is typically triggered by autoimmune diseases or an infection, not herbal supplements.
Elderberry can increase inflammatory cytokines in people with a otherwise healthy condition where they are. That's desirable. That helps us fight infections. However, there's no evidence that elderberry would increase the risk of a cytokine storm.
So we can verify. Our experts say that there's just no evidence that they will trigger a cytokine storm and put you at risk during this pandemic.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
Tonight, nearly every one of Georgia's 159 counties is reporting coronavirus cases as the outbreaks continue to spread. Overall, more than 5,400 people in Georgia have tested positive. 176 people are confirmed dead. Georgia has now processed more than 23,000 COVID-19 tests for a state of 10 million people. I'm Ron Jones, working from home as we continue to practice social distancing here at 11Alive.
And I'm Natisha Lance, coming to you from in studio. Governor Kemp has signed a statewide shelter-in-place order. It will go into effect tomorrow morning at 6 p.m. and end Monday, April 13th at 11:59 p.m. Now, here are the details. Residents are only allowed to leave their home to get food and medical supplies for their families. You can exercise outside, but you must remain 6 feet away from anyone else. The order also says anyone who violates the order will be guilty of a misdemeanor.
Well, hopefully it never gets to that, Natisha. As you know, the statewide order is meant to eliminate the confusion with cities and counties declaring their own orders, with some closing parks and others leaving them open, and varying definitions of which businesses can continue to operate. 11Alive's Doug Richards explains.
Athens Clarke County has been living with a shelter-in-place order for the last 2 weeks now, and it offers a glimpse as to how it could work statewide.
So in Athens, we've had shelter in place for 2 weeks now.
Normally, Athens is one of Georgia's liveliest small towns, but nowadays,
yeah, it's been a ghost town at night.
Jim Wilson runs the 40-Watt, a well-known downtown Athens music venue which temporarily closed down as a non-essential business under the local government's shelter-in-place order. Yet Wilson is upbeat about it.
I kind of feel like we're a few weeks ahead of the rest of the state. No offense, Georgia, but Athens is doing pretty well here.
Athens Clarke County's shelter-in-place order lists 18 non-essential businesses ordered to temporarily close, from music venues to bars to clothing and furniture stores. But the order exempts 60 businesses, allowing everything from attorneys and car washes to gun stores and takeout restaurants to continue to operate. The city's shelter-in-place order allows people to go outside, which on this warm spring day they did. And it allows enforcement. But Mayor Kelly Gertz says it's not about arresting violators.
We've been explicit that that's not going to be one of our mechanisms of enforcement. We didn't want anyone thinking that this was Tiananmen Square in 1989.
My directive is not to go around and lock a bunch of people up. What we want to do is get people to comply with this.
Governor Kemp said much the same thing Wednesday, saying the state order would mostly depend on Georgians policing themselves. Gertz says that has worked in Athens.
I've seen people live in person and on social media call each other out. We do have a text hotline and a web hotline as well, so that it can be reported to us if there are those out there, either individuals in the community or businesses that need some guidance.
Gertz says he was among a number of Georgia mayors who wrote Governor Kemp urging him to enact a statewide shelter-in-place order. Kemp's order becomes effective tomorrow.
And we have a complete shelter-in-place order for you, the complete one, over on 11alive.com. It's there for you to read if you want to learn more information, or if you just want a link sent to your phone, text the word shelter to 404-885-7600. And here's a reminder that this shelter-in-place order does not mean everyone needs to overstock on supplies. We all remember these photos from just a few weeks ago of empty shelves and packed stores and a puzzling shortage of toilet paper. We're still trying to figure that one out. One universal thing with all the shelter-in-place orders is grocery stores, hospitals, pharmacies, and gas stations will all remain open, so don't feel the need to
exactly
overstock.
1 month after those cases were reported here in our state of Georgia, a record number of people were actually applying for unemployment. 11 Alive's Joe Henke is putting those numbers into perspective for us tonight.
Georgia Department of Labor receiving a record number of unemployment claims over the past week as Georgians lose their jobs during the COVID-19 pandemic, only months after the state hit a record low unemployment rate in January. Recently, in a normal week, the Department of Labor processed around 5,000 unemployment claims. The department, though, reporting for the week ending March 21st, they received 12,000 claims. And last week, the number of claims filed jumped to more than 133,000, more claims than during the peak of the Great Recession. The state labor commissioner, Mark Butler, releasing a video statement late this afternoon.
In this past year, we were averaging, say, right around 20,000 claims a month. You're basically talking about 6 months worth of claims being filed in just 5 days. So that's a tremendous increase.
A spokesman for the office says yesterday they processed more than 100,000 claims. 11 Alive viewers, though, reporting long delays to receive responses from the office. Butler saying his office is working quickly to respond to the record surge of unemployment.
Men and women, a Department of Labor, are working day and night, a lot of overtime. They're missing a lot of time with their families.
Nationally, unemployment also breaking records. 3.3 million unemployment claims filed around the country 2 weeks ago, a record number by itself until last week when the total doubled to 6.6 million filing claims.
It's very discouraging and it's very sad.
Economist and business professor Tom Smith of Emory University says as the COVID-19 pandemic drags on, some jobs will disappear for good.
A lot of small businesses don't have this huge wad of cash sitting around so that when they hit a crisis like this, they can just jump right back into things and say, no big deal, this is fine. A lot of small businesses might limp through this for a while and at some point say, you know what, I'm going to hang this up, like I cannot do this anymore.
People in Albany, Georgia have been devastated by the coronavirus. More people have died in Daughtry County than any other county in our state. 29 people have died there already. And Daughtry County is a tenth of the size of Fulton County, just to give you some perspective on that. People who live there tell our Caitlin Ross they are simply overwhelmed.
A lot of people are praying, but a lot of people are sad. Some are getting depressed. Some people are just wondering when will it be over.
Yolanda Brown's husband was just released from the hospital after testing positive for COVID-19. The virus has killed many people she loved.
I've lost family and friends. I had a cousin to pass, a god brother, some real close friends, some spiritual mother.
She says people who live in Dougherty County are struggling to stay positive after the confirmed cases there continue to rise. She says they're terrified of what will happen next.
I still have family and friends that are still in the hospital, in ICU and MICU, who are on ventilators.
Well, the situation there is tragic, but help is underway. 2 National Guard medic teams are in Dougherty County to support healthcare workers. The state has also shipped supplies and plans to send more to Phoebe Putney Hospital in Albany. They've also added beds at Phoebe North and expect to be able to treat patients there by early next week.
The American Medical Association represents thousands of doctors across our country, and the president of that association is right here in Atlanta. 11Alive's Rebecca Lindstrom sat down and spoke with her about her concerns.
Dr. Patrice Harris has a very simple message for anyone who will listen.
As much as everyone is doing right now, we need to do more.
From protective gear and ventilators to efforts at social distancing, Harris says medical professionals need help.
When physicians are writing their wills, updating their wills, not seeing their family, it is really, to me, a call to action.
2 weeks ago, Harris explained to President Trump in an online meeting the gaps in supplies and asked for a national tracking system on protective gear, test kits, and ventilators.
Who has what, who needs what, and what the priorities are. Physicians go into this profession knowing that there's some risk of infection, but there's an accountability contract, I say, in that we expect to have the tools that we need when we go in and day out on the front lines.
That tracking system has yet to emerge, but we have seen increases in testing. Still, she says we need results in hours, not days. She knows it is possible.
Now we have to deliver and make sure those tests are available. I would caution, though, the comfort with no cases in my backyard. Recall that we haven't tested a lot. So until we really get the widespread testing, we don't really know how a particular community has been impacted.
Harris believes more data, not just age, but ethnicities and risk factors, will also help us better understand the virus.
African Americans have higher incidences of diabetes and hypertension, which are risk factors, right, other than age. We have to be led by the science and the data.
I talked with Harris for nearly 25 minutes, and no matter what I asked, she kept coming back to the same message. Medical professionals need equipment. To protect the supply, you don't need to sew a mask. You just need to stay healthy.
Here's absolutely one thing everyone can do, and that is to stay home.
A military veteran with an underlying medical condition sits in ICE detention in Ocilla, Georgia tonight. This is after he was detained by ICE outside of his home in Douglasville. His wife tells us she's worried his health could take a turn for the worse while detained during this pandemic. Elwin Lopez spoke with her today.
I do have concern with the pandemic because my husband is high risk to begin with, so that can kill him.
Sasha Green says her husband Fitzroy, better known as Bobby, is diabetic. Born in Jamaica, he came to the U.S. when he was just 13, served in the military, and 2 weeks ago was detained outside his home in Douglasville.
He says, Sash, this is immigration. And I was like, immigration for what?
Bobby is a permanent resident. She says his application for U.S. citizenship was denied due to a felony on his record for armed robbery from more than 20 years ago.
I thought that, marrying a U.S. citizen and having family and being a veteran, that all of those things would count.
In a statement to 11Alive, ICE says the 51-year-old was convicted of armed robbery in New York in 1994. He was convicted again of possession with intent to distribute marijuana and 2 counts of aggravated assault in 2008. He is currently in ICE custody pending removal proceedings before a federal immigration judge.
There are people that are in our country that do worse things and they're here and they don't get deported anywhere because this is their home, right? Well, this is my husband's home too. This is where he's grown up. This is where he's had his family in this. And I just think that it sucks. It sucks. Because he would have died for this country.
All right, straight ahead. Another sign things will not be going back to normal anytime soon. How the Democrats are changing things up for their presidential nomination.
And temperatures today started off chilly. However, we warmed up nicely. We're going to continue with this warm pattern at least until tomorrow. Stay with us. We'll let you know if that'll persist into the weekend.
We are bringing you updates on the coronavirus outbreak on all 3 hours of Primetime on air and the 11Alive YouTube channel. Subscribe and join the conversation in the community section. We've got more 11Alive news and Primetime after the break.
drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
There is so much information to sort through right now, so here are 3 stories you may have missed today. The Democratic National Convention has been delayed. It is now scheduled for the week of August 17th, still to be held in Milwaukee. The move comes after prospective nominee Joe Biden said he didn't think it was possible to hold a normal convention in July because of COVID-19. The Republican convention is also scheduled for late August, but in Charlotte. The Best Buy off of Sidney Marcus Boulevard is temporarily closing its store to customers. Instead, the store is implementing drive-through only service in which customers place an order and an employee brings it right to the car. The goal is to maintain social distancing guidelines, and according to the manager, the store still serves close to 200 customers every day. The coronavirus pandemic is leading companies to lay off more than 1,000 people who work at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Companies that employ TSA workers, gate agents, gourmet services, and more are cutting back. According to our partner, the Atlanta Business Chronicle, the layoffs begin March 22nd and run through April 30th.
You know, Vice President Mike Pence is now giving Americans a very grim outlook as the virus continues to spread across our country. And he says the new numbers here are climbing at a rate similar to Italy. So this is what we know. According to Johns Hopkins University, more than 13,000 people there have died from the virus. Dr. Anthony Fauci, a member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, says although New York is the epicenter of the United States outbreak, right now we're going to see the same spread in other large cities in our country. On the Today Show this morning, he stressed that in order to stop the spread, people must stay home.
This is inconvenient from an economic and a personal standpoint, but we just have to do it. That is our major weapon against this virus right now. We don't have a vaccine that's deployable. This is the only thing we have, and we can get through it if everybody really leans forward and pushes on this.
You know, he's also urging states to look at their stay-at-home orders and consider which exemptions are actually appropriate. NBC medical correspondent Dr. John Torres says we're learning about some new symptoms when it comes to COVID-19 brain issues.
Researchers around the world and studies in China are showing that patients are complaining about confusion, tingling in extremities, and even seizures. These are rare complications, and we've seen them with other viruses, but it looks like they can happen with coronavirus as well.
Dr. Torres says if you notice similar symptoms, often associated with a stroke, call 911 immediately.
Well, as you heard Dr. Fauci mention, there is no vaccine to stop the spread of COVID-19. It could be a year before one is ready. Chris Vanderveen with our sister station in Denver shows us how easy a disease can spread without a vaccine and what we can do to slow down the rise in cases.
Bloop.
See that? That's you. And you have the measles. And those dots around you, they have zero protection against the virus. Science tells us eventually you will infect upwards of 15 other dots, thanks to something known as an R naught. Yep, R naught, a fancy term that tells you how contagious a disease is. The R naught of measles, around 15. The R naught of smallpox, 6. Both are very contagious, but measles remains rare, and no one gets smallpox anymore. Credit the rise of vaccinations, an effective shield against contagion. Maybe a few dots received one, maybe that one didn't. But see what it does to the spread? Now let's take the new coronavirus. Its R naught of 2 or 3 suggests it's not as harmful. But as of now, no one has protection. There is no vaccine. So you and your dot could infect 2 or 3. And those 2 or 3 could infect 4 or 5. And so on and so on. In the U.S., the number of cases is doubling every 3 days. A true case of exponential growth. But let's say you decide to social distance and only infect 1, not 2 or 3. Your neighbor doesn't go to work. Your coworker doesn't hit the park. A stranger stays home. Infections can still happen, but the odds of any one dot infecting 2 or 3 others decreases thanks to distance. The contagion slows. Exponential growth turns into linear growth, if not this. Until there is an effective treatment or a vaccine, physical distancing represents the best odds, say infectious disease experts, one by one, connecting the dots by doing nothing more than disconnecting them.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers with you live from my basement Storm Tracker Center once again tonight. And you know, it was a great day. We're celebrating not only having the sunshine, the chance to get outside and get a breath of fresh air, and that breath of fresh air wasn't as full of pollen today as it has been for the past few days. Look at this pollen count today, 974. Not bad, right? We have gone from the extremely high range to the high range. So it's down just a little bit. Main pollens are pine, oak, sweet gum, sycamore, and willow. And we've been talking all night tonight about this trend here that these numbers have been coming down. From the really high counts that we've had over the past few days, at the beginning of the week, to now coming down a little bit, but it's not over. Can y'all see my phone here? Yeah, my phone's right here because I'm doing a Facebook Live. We've got about 200 plus people on right now. And a lot of folks are asking about the pollen count and when things start tapering down. So even though we've seen these numbers coming down this week, we're not finished with those extremely high counts. We're still going to have some high counts coming in. This is just down because we had some rain first and then cooler air. But now that we are dry and the temperatures are starting to warm up, I'm really thinking those counts are going to start coming back up. We usually see these higher pollen counts tapering off in the middle of April. So hold on, I think we'll have it just a little while longer. I'm hoping we have already peaked with last Sunday's big time number that we had, that second highest number that we've ever recorded in Atlanta. Temperature right now 61. We have some 50s though outside the city. In fact, Atlanta, Duluth, and Athens are the warmest spots, if you want to call it warm, the mildest spots with temperatures in the 60s. Everybody else is in the 50s right now. So it's feeling kind of cool out there, but comfortable. It's not like it's cold. It's just really comfortable out there. These temperatures continue to fall tonight, and by tomorrow morning we move down into the mid-40s to start. And tomorrow's going to be a great day. We're going to see sunshine at times mixing in with some clouds. Our temperature to start in the morning will be right at about 47 degrees, and then we get up to 75 in the afternoon. On our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect day, we're going to go with a 10. We'll have just a couple of clouds that'll mix in at times, and you can see that here on the forecast track. Nothing really major here in the morning, plenty of sunshine. In the afternoon, mostly sunny skies. Late afternoon, maybe just a couple of more clouds. That'll be mixing in with the sunshine at times. So if you're stuck inside, working, helping the kids, try to get their work done with their schooling, really any time tomorrow would be a good time to get outside. If you can just kind of work that into your day, maybe a mid-morning recess, to send the kids out in the backyard just to get out a little bit and exercise. An backyard lunch might be good. Also, maybe take that Zoom call in the middle of the afternoon outside as well, because we're going to have some really nice weather out there. On Saturday, we will see mostly sunny skies to start, but here you see a few of those clouds to the west of us coming in. Those will also mix in with the sunshine, but I'm really not thinking they will give us any rain. It's going to be on Sunday, late in the day, and mainly up in North Georgia. that's where we see a chance, a really low chance for some showers. 20% chance of that Sunday with a high of 78. And then Monday, also a 20% chance for showers. Tuesday's the day with the best chance for showers. That will be about a 40% chance for that, maybe some thunder and lightning. That tapers off to a 20% chance Wednesday. And then looking dry for your Thursday with mostly sunny skies and temperatures up to about 79 degrees in the afternoon. And that'll bring the wazometer back up to a 10.
Hey, thanks a lot, Chris. So what are the best apps to ensure business continues in a world of social distancing? And what should be on your list? Next.
Atlanta's biggest trials and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
The impact of COVID-19 is massive, and in the new norm of social distancing, we're depending on connection and our devices more than ever before. So last week, we've told you about the virtual ways to stay connected with family and friends. A lot of us are doing that now. And tonight, Liza Lucas looks into experts on ways, or spoke to experts on ways employees can stay in touch.
Virtual workouts, book clubs, and town halls, you name it, it's online right now. But how is the 9-to-5 world dealing with social distancing?
I think of all the video conferencing services, Zoom just gets mentioned a lot more because it's easy to use, it's straightforward, they've got a mobile app. Slack is another one where you'd consider your water cooler talk, right? Channels for topics, and people can go in there and subscribe or unsubscribe and then pay attention to the conversations that make sense.
For those who need to get creative, there are other options.
Businesses are having to learn how to brainstorm without a whiteboard, right? So this is where web-based apps come in. Whiteboard Fox is the simplest. It doesn't require a login and it's free. And then there's more complex and robust whiteboarding tools like Mural.
Mural, a digital whiteboard that lets users add drawings and stickies. But it's more than the corporate world adapting.
We're also seeing some of these concerts and whatnot happening on Instagram. A lot of these applications are starting to be used in ways that maybe they weren't intended originally. For a lot of these companies, it's going to open up new arenas for them that they've never thought of before.
Hey, heads up as you work from home. According to CNBC, about half of large companies use some type of monitoring techniques to keep tabs on their employees. But if you're off the clock and a budding entrepreneur, now could be the time to bring your own vision to reality.
You got nowhere to go, you've got time on your hands, and so you have a great opportunity to launch a new company right now.
Next, the governor is extending the shutdown of K-12 public schools for the remainder of the academic year. The impact this will have on teachers and parents statewide. That's coming up next.
Message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message.
I want to encourage my fellow Georgians to hang in there. I know that you're tired of this, but we must first overcome the obstacles that we have in our path.
The spread of coronavirus is forcing Governor Kemp to take stronger measures to keep Georgians safe. Today, he signed a statewide shelter in place, which goes into full effect tomorrow. He also ordered all schools will remain closed for the rest of the academic year. Online learning will continue.
Governor Kemp is addressing some criticism about something he said at his press conference Wednesday. He said he recently learned that many people who do not show symptoms can spread the virus, and that was a big factor in his decision to sign a statewide shelter-in-place order.
You know, finding out that this virus is now transmitting before people see signs. So what we've been telling people from directives from the CDC for weeks now, that if you start feeling bad, stay home. Those individuals could have been infecting people before they ever felt bad.
Well, there's been criticism. The governor should have known about asymptomatic spread long before. Federal health officials have been talking about that possibility as early as January. We reached out to Governor Kemp's office, and a spokesperson says, quote, the governor makes it very clear that updated CDC guidelines as of March 30th changed the Department of Health's recommendation regarding more aggressive action. This updated guidance and updated modeling led to the Department of Public Health updating its protocols for contact tracing, community mitigation, and testing. The idea that people carry the virus without having symptoms is not a new one. However, the CDC did give more specifics about coronavirus and the way it spreads on Monday, March 30th. That day, the director of the CDC did an interview with WABE radio. He gave the specific statistic that up to 1 in 4 people with the virus will not show any symptoms. The governor and Dr. Toomey with the Department of Health mentioned that stat a few times in the press conference. The CDC also mentioned people can spread the virus up to 48 hours before showing symptoms, and it released new guidance on asymptomatic infection that reflects that data. So even though there has been talk about asymptomatic spread since January, we can verify as of Monday, the CDC gave more detailed and concrete information about the issue. The governor and the commissioner of the Georgia Department of Public Health talked about it at length during the hour-long press conference yesterday. And if you want to hear more about that, you can listen to the full press conference at the 11Alive YouTube page.
You know, Natisha, because of the virus, Morehouse is now reducing some of its summer classes, and just to protect their students and staff, they're going to be moving online, just like a lot of colleges are doing right now. And the University System of Georgia also says they will remain online for the rest of the summer. So here's part of the strategy here, folks. This announcement comes on the heels of the governor's order to closing public school campuses through the end of the school year while continuing online learning. The order says it's up to each district to establish the final day, and faculty and staff may still be asked to return to campus for essential services. Latasha Gibbons reached out to some of our biggest districts to find out more about the impact.
We reached out to some of the larger school districts in the metro to find out what the rest of the school year looks like from a logistical standpoint. Some of the plans differ, but one thing remains: teaching and learning continues, just not inside the classroom. During a video press conference, APS Superintendent Maria Kirstoffen says teaching and learning hasn't stopped.
Schools are open. Our teachers are teaching, our leaders are leading, our students are learning.
Kirstoffen says APS has had 2 main issues during the digital learning days: technology and food service. With technology, it's a matter of having enough learning devices and distributing them inside the homes, and making sure the technology is in sync district-wide. The second, breakfast and lunch for those who need it, both of which she says are primarily resolved. As for what this means for grading GPAs and making it to the next grade,
we dismantled our online testing.
APS says it also plans to issue hero pay to essential employees who have to report on site starting April 13th. We also reached out to the other top districts around the metro. Gwinnett County Schools says it has teams of people working out details like graduation, summer school, and registration. But for now, they sent us a statement reading in part, digital instruction as well as the feeding of children is essential business. We have the means to provide our students with stability in a time of tremendous turmoil, and it is our duty and intent to do so. DeKalb County Schools says it too is working out details, sending us this statement. More information will be forthcoming about the action plans for graduation, grading, promotion and retention, summer learning programs for remediation, enrichment and recovery. We also spoke to the Georgia Department of Education to find out if there would be any uniformity when it comes to plans for the rest of the school year. They told us each district will make their own independent decisions based on their specific needs. We also reached out to Cobb County Schools as well as Clayton County Schools. Once we have their response, we'll put it on our website at 11alive.com.
As schools across our state continue to deal with this shutdown, well, the parents are also trying to deal with this new normal, right? But so are the children who are at home. They're dealing with anxiety. We spoke with one psychiatrist who says that this could be a big problem for our kids.
I think the important thing is to let kids know that it's okay to be more anxious right now. Another word for anxiety is doubt or uncertainty, and right now there's a lot of both. So by validating that, you're not only opening up lines of communication, but you're helping them release that feeling and let them know that they're not alone, and then let them know that there are ways to manage their anxiety.
So, if you notice your child showing signs of anxiousness, he says parents can strive to keep things as predictable as possible, let the kids feel in control from time to time, and try to make some connectivity as a priority.
Right now, there's so much about a child's life that feels very unpredictable. By giving them a schedule, you give them a sense of security. You can involve them in this as well by asking them what they think their schedule should be. It's really important as kids are distancing themselves that they still feel connected to others. FaceTime, texting, emailing, but also writing a letter or a note, maybe to their grandparents.
He also stresses the one connection you don't want to cut out during this time.
Being emotionally well means staying in touch with your therapist, your counselor, your psychiatrist. This is not the time to isolate. This is the time to be reassured, connected, and to have the tools that you need so you can be emotionally strong.
You know, we feel for our parents out there and for the children as well, trying to juggle all of this new normal. So we put together a resource guide to help you get through it, and you can find it in the As Seen on TV section of the 11Alive app.
Well, the calendar has been cleared. No after-school activities and days of digital learning lie ahead. It's left students of all ages with more time on their hands, but one Alpharetta student is using his time to help. Here's Matt Pearl.
Perhaps you've noticed, as I have, an increase in flower photos on your timelines. Perhaps it's because the coronavirus outbreak has so many seeking reminders of simple, unfiltered beauty and finding them when they take walks around their neighborhoods and go out of their homes. But what about those who can't go out?
People can't really see them, or they're, going to FaceTime.
Braxton Chadwick is a senior in high school. Next fall, he'll head to Savannah State. And right now,
I have nothing but time on my hands, so why not provide a little joy?
Braxton thought about two other seniors. There's his grandmother in an assisted living facility, who he only sees now through a screen. And then there's his grandfather, who runs a greenhouse in Ackworth with a month's worth of flowers whose orders were canceled.
Thousands of flowers, looking good for no one right now. So I was like, hey, you mind if I get them from you, and then I can do what I want with them? And he's like, go for it.
Braxton started Bloom to a Room. People can donate a flower. Braxton will drop them off outside nursing homes around the area. The first batch went Wednesday to his grandmother's facility.
We gave him one for every room. One of the ladies who works at the front desk, she got to give everyone their meal that night and add a little something to it with the flower.
Braxton's goal, 2,500 deliveries of flowers from a senior in high school to senior citizens region-wide.
So this is a way, to say, hey, we're not really forgetting about you, we're just outside.
8 Marta employees have tested positive for COVID-19. Next, what the company is doing to ensure the safety of future passengers.
It has been a beautiful day out there today. Radar not showing anything here in North Georgia, but we are seeing a few showers that are building out to the west through Texas into Arkansas and Missouri. Stay with us. I'll let you know if that system is going to alter our plans as we head toward the weekend.
By outside workers. The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by...
Tonight, Marta is confirming with 11Alive that 8 of its employees have tested positive for the coronavirus, and many others are now quarantining themselves. As Reveal investigator Faith Abube reports, there's a video out there of a packed bus, and it has one rider asking 11Alive, while Marta juggles safety for his bus drivers, it should also make changes to keep essential riders safe as well.
Riders on Marta Bus 124, too close for comfort in the age of social distancing. Whoa! Sauda Silvera is among the riders packed in the back of this bus.
We're toppling on each other. I don't know if you washed your hands or if you got hand sanitizer or who you interacted with or you touched something. I don't know. You're too close to me. I have no choice now.
Silvera works in security and is an essential worker. She says she's been riding on the route for 3 years to get to work. It's always busy, but she expected more space in the wake of the city of Atlanta's social distancing order.
I am very concerned.
Marta says it's taking precautions, boarding passengers through the back door and suspending bus fares to limit contact. They've also put a barrier between the drivers and the riders. And with demand and revenue down, bus service is also reduced by about 30%.
Really think it through when you was like, okay, we're just going to go ahead and load everybody to the back. I don't think people realize how many essential workers there are, meaning in from, janitors to the hospital, people who work in the hospital.
We showed the video to Marta Chief of Bus Operations, Conley Greenwood.
That's factual, that's inarguable, and it was shocking. But it's a classic example of what I was just talking about, where despite the fact that the operator is empowered to make these decisions, we still have a case in point where the system failed.
Greenwood says even though fewer people are riding the bus, some routes are still seeing a lot of traffic. To address it, Marta has given bus drivers more power to enforce social distancing.
When the bus is at 50%, they'll call the BCC, the Bus Control Center. Bus Control Center will dispatch a new vehicle to get behind that bus and pick up for them. And that bus, as the crowding levels exceed 50% and approach 60 or 70%, they will then flip their destination sign on to read that the bus is full.
So far, it hasn't been perfect, but Marta says it's constantly adjusting.
We are committed to continuous improvement.
And that is good news for Silvera and other essential workers still riding the bus to work.
I want some reassurance, too, as well, that whoever is in charge is also looking out for our well-beings, too.
Marta is also urging drivers, or riders rather, that if you're at the bus stop, a bus rolls up, it looks crowded, too many people in it, you may want to wait till the next bus comes by. And they said if you have any problems whatsoever, let them know directly so that they can handle it. Now, the Marta Trains, that's a little bit different here. They will continue operating on a weekend schedule, but they will start at a regular weekday time to go along with the bus service. Due to extremely low ridership, the Mercedes-Benz State Farm Arena GWCC rail station will remain closed until further notice. There was also some concern about Cobb Link buses out there as well. So we should point out that Faith reached out to the county and was told in the next day or two that Cobb will be instituting their rear entrance only and suspending fares as well. They've also taped off some of the seats to encourage social distancing so everybody's not sitting just close together in a crowded bus, and posted signage to remind passengers of the importance of social distancing.
A few people on my Facebook Live tonight were saying, you know what, Chris, I think today should have been an 11. And if you'll remember yesterday when we were talking about it being a 10 on the whizometer, we said it was going to be really close to being an 11. Well, let me explain why it was just a 10. It was still a beautiful day out there, but our high today was 69 degrees. That's right on target. That's exactly where we should be for this time of year. And if we were only talking about that, yeah, today would have been an 11. Plenty of sunshine, pollen was low. But the only reason it wasn't classified as a perfect day today is because of this. Our low this morning was 40. That's 8 degrees below the average. So if we had called it an 11, some people would have said, hey, it was too cold this morning. That shouldn't have been an 11 on the whizometer. So that's why today was a 10. And these are the numbers to kind of back that up a little bit. No rain in our area today, and we still have a surplus of just over a foot above where we should be in rainfall for the year. Take a look at these temperatures. We are cooling down tonight. Maybe if you got outside tonight after dinner to exercise a little bit, you notice those temperatures coming down as the sun was going down. 61 right now in town, 60 in Athens. These are the only places in the 60s right now. Everybody else is in the 50s in the metro area. We do have some 40s though up in North Georgia, up in the Blairsville area. So here's what we're watching with your weather headlines. We're staying dry. We're in a dry pattern, and we're going to stay dry not only for tomorrow, Saturday, but most of us will be dry on Sunday as well. We'll talk about that low rain chance coming up for Sunday late in just a little while. Also, temperatures each day getting just a little bit warmer, and we're going to see some showers that will be moving our way this week. Now, I know that a lot of you are cooped up inside. We're sheltering in place right now, trying to do work from home, helping kids with homeschooling and their schoolwork as well. So we wanted you to provide you with an excuse to take a break and get outside. This is your Get Outside cast for tomorrow. First, tomorrow, if the kids are driving you crazy, mid-morning, that might be a good time for a mid-morning recess, maybe at 10 o'clock. It's going to be sunny. And even though it's a chilly start, we're going to get up to about 54 by around 10 o'clock. How about a backyard lunch tomorrow? That's a good excuse to get outside. At noon, we'll be at 63. Nice conditions, mostly sunny skies. And then mid-afternoon or late afternoon, as you're wrapping up the week and you have to do that last Zoom call, take it outside. How about doing that? 75 degrees, mostly sunny skies for that outdoor Zoom call at about 4 o'clock. If you're talking with folks in other places around the country, you can brag about how nice our weather is. You'll see here on the forecast track, great weather. We're going to see mostly sunny skies. Just a couple of clouds will build in at times. And then as we go into Saturday, partly cloudy as well. Temperatures in the mid-70s, 78 Sunday. This is that 20% chance for a shower late Sunday, mainly in North Georgia. 20% chance for a shower Monday. Tuesday is the day really with the highest rain chance at 40% with highs near 76. Then those rain chances coming back down on Wednesday. Thursday right now looks dry. Highs near 79 with mostly sunny skies, bringing the whizometer back to a 10.
Looks good out there, Chris. Thank you. There is some good news for senior citizens who will not have to file a tax return to get a stimulus check after all. The Trump administration had said those who don't have to file taxes were going to be required to file a return to get the check. That decision was reversed after strong criticism from lawmakers, and we're also learning today the first direct deposits will happen in 2 weeks.
I had previously said this would take us 3 weeks. I'm pleased to report that within 2 weeks, the first payments will be direct deposit into taxpayers' account. And as the president said, last night the president authorized me to say that anybody that has Social Security recipients won't need to file a new tax return and will have that.
So that is ahead of schedule for those with direct deposit coming in 2 weeks. For those without direct deposit information, it could still be weeks or even months before you get it. So let's take a look at the timeline here. According to memos from the Trump administration, the direct deposit payments will start the week of April 13th. The IRS estimates that about 60 million people will receive their check at that point. 3 weeks later, the week of May 4th, the IRS will start issuing paper checks. The office that processes the check can only mail out about 5 million checks per week, so it could take 20 weeks or nearly 5 months to get all of those checks out. They plan to send paper checks to the lowest income Americans first. And for those on Social Security, the stimulus money will be sent to them just as their Social Security checks have been done in the past. Well, we have a calculator that can help you figure out how much stimulus money you could be getting. We'll send it right to your phone. Just text the word check to the number that you see on your screen. It's 404-885-7600. And remember to text that number, don't call. We will be right back with more Primetime.
National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear, on 11Alive News Primetime.
I thought, well, this would be a wonderful time with kids having to be stuck at home with their parents and parents being stuck with their kids.
For those parents who might be a little tired of the e-learning, you're getting some help. Starting tonight, Dolly Parton can help tuck your kiddos into bed. The country music icon and Imagination Library founder is reading bedtime stories. So we have a link in the As Seen on TV section of the 11Alive app if you're looking for that help.
And we're watching a beautiful day out there for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. It's going to be another cool start, not as cool as it was this morning. Then we warmed to 75 in the afternoon. Dry through the weekend, only a 20% chance for a shower late Sunday into Monday. Better rain chances on Tuesday before we dry out again and stay warm into next week.
Well, while all of us are social distancing, we are still bringing you all the updates that we can. Ron and Chris doing a great job from their homes. We will see you at 11 on our sister station, 11Alive.
Medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
Now at 10, we have a lot to get to on the COVID-19 pandemic. We are covering every angle to make sure you and your family are safe and prepared.
This time tomorrow night, the shelter in place will be instituted all through the state of Georgia. And just before 6:30 tonight, Governor Kemp signed an executive order to make that a reality.
So you might be wondering, what does all of this mean? We are going to get to that in just a moment, but first let's check our top headlines. Tonight, spikes in cases across Georgia and the U.S. There are now nearly 5,500 confirmed COVID-19 cases in our state and 176 deaths. The national death toll rising by nearly 1,000 Americans every day. That is according to NBC News. And FEMA has requested 100,000 body bags from the Department of Defense.
And now back to our top story. It is the governor's shelter-in-place order. It goes into effect tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
Now, we know a lot of you have questions about this, so new tonight at 10, Hope Ford breaks down what it all means.
Well, first off, anyone found breaking this order is subject to being charged with a misdemeanor, although it doesn't go into specifics about how that part's going to be enforced. But this order overrides all local government orders. So I want to tell you what you can and cannot do. So you can travel for a few different things. Go into the grocery store, gas station, buying medical supplies, and stuff to work from home. You can also leave to seek medical, mental, or emergency services. Outside exercise still allowed. But remember, you have to stay 6 feet away from people unless you live together. You're free to visit places of worship as long as social distancing guidelines are followed. Now, dining in at restaurants banned, but you can get food delivered or get takeout. Curbside pickup is also allowed. Now, here's a list of everything that must close: gyms, bowling alleys, theaters, live performance venues, amusement parks, body art studios, estheticians, hair designers, bars.
Athens-Clarke County was among the first jurisdictions in Georgia to issue a shelter-in-place order. It's been the law there for about 2 weeks now. A visit to the Athens area at midday showed there were plenty of people outdoors in the downtown Bistrict district. Several businesses were closed. Mayor Kelly Gertz says the city uses police and code enforcement mostly to educate people about the provisions of the shelter-in-place order without being confrontational.
We've been explicit that that's not going to be one of our mechanisms of enforcement. We didn't want anyone thinking that this was Tiananmen Square in 1989.
Gertz says people mostly enforce it themselves, either voluntarily or by calling out violators.
We learned today that a record 6.6 million Americans have now filed for unemployment. That shatters any previous record that we have known, and it's double what economists were predicting. But in Georgia, there is a silver lining tonight. A new report says this state has the least exposure to economic hardship of any other. Here is Ryan Kruger to explain.
In order to understand our current economy, let's go back to the last recession.
Georgia was particularly hard hit when we had a housing crisis because a lot of Georgia's economy was revolving around the housing market.
But since then, Emory economist Tom Smith says Georgia has diversified its economy. There are more jobs in healthcare and fewer in tourism. That's one reason why Wallet Hub lists Georgia as the state that is expected to face the fewest amount of hardships.
The diversification of our economy would insulate us from some of maybe the harshest elements of this recession.
You could also say that Georgia was ready for the sudden shift to work from home. Atlanta in particular was recently named as one of the top cities in the country for telecommuting. But Smith warns hard times are still ahead.
I don't think that it means that we're not going to have significant unemployment. We will.
And the study's authors found that Louisiana is expected to be the hardest hit state economically, in large part because tourism plays such a big part of their economy, and so few people in that state work from home.
If you're looking for a job, there are those opportunities out there. And to name a few, Amazon, CVS, Dollar General are all looking to hire. Major grocery chains like Publix and Kroger also have positions that they do need to fill right now. We're keeping track of companies that are hiring. You can find the full list in the As Seen on TV section of the 11Alive app.
One small community hit especially hard by this outbreak is Daughtry County. It's now at more than 500 cases and 30 deaths. People who live there told 11Alive's Caitlin Ross everyone in this community knows someone who has died from the virus.
Normally, it's a lot of kissing and a lot of hugging and a lot of handshaking. And so we have had to adjust.
Pastor Mathis Wright knows a lot of people who have died from coronavirus in Albany, including some of his extended family members. He says the hardest part is not being able to grieve them with a public funeral.
All of that is non-existence now. So that's what I've been hearing in our community is just the sorrow for people not being able to go where family members pass and family members can't go to their burial.
Yolanda Brown's husband just got out of the hospital after testing positive for COVID-19, but she's lost many people she loves to the virus.
I've lost family and friends. I had a cousin to pass, a god brother, some real close friends, some spiritual mother.
She says people in Albany are struggling to stay positive.
A lot of people are praying, but a lot of people are sad. Some are getting depressed.
Pastor Wright says he's trying to encourage his congregation through it.
We have to still endure in faith, and then sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's long-suffering, but there's always, with every storm, there's always an end to it.
Well, good news is there is help underway for Daughtry County. The governor sent 2 National Guard medic teams to support healthcare workers there. The state has also shipped supplies and plans to send more to Phoebe Putney Hospital in Albany. The governor says they've been able to add beds to Phoebe North, relieve some of the issues at Phoebe Putney, and they expect Phoebe North to be ready to treat patients by early next week. The director of the CDC says most people will recover from coronavirus. More than 98% will. Johns Hopkins University says in the United States more than 8,000 people have already done so.
What are the best apps to ensure business continues in a world of social distancing? What should be on your list? That's coming up next.
Radar confirms what you're seeing out there. No rain in our area, but as we zoom out a little bit, you can see some showers building just out to the west. Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri. Stay with us. I'll let you know if that system's going to move our way and have any impact on our weekend.
Medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergency.
Vice President Mike Pence is giving Americans a grim look at how this coronavirus could spread in our country. He says our cases are increasing at a similar rate to those in Italy. According to Johns Hopkins University, more than 13,000 people there have died from the virus. Dr. Anthony Fauci, a member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, says although New York is the epicenter of the United States outbreak right now, we are going to see the same spread in other large cities. On the Today Show this morning, he stressed that in order to stop the spread, people must stay home.
This is inconvenient from an economic and a personal standpoint, but we just have to do it. That is our major weapon against this virus right now. We don't have a vaccine that's deployable. This is the only thing we have, and we can get through it if everybody really leans forward and pushes on this.
Dr. Fauci also urged states to look at their stay-at-home orders and consider which exemptions are appropriate.
As you heard Dr. Fauci say moments ago, there is no vaccine, and it will be at least a year before one might be ready to go. So basically, we are repeating the Spanish flu of World War I in 1918, and that is social distancing. It is an old-fashioned way to try to avoid spreading the virus, but it is working to flatten the curve in many places. Chris Vanderveen with our sister station in Denver, KUSA, shows us how easy a disease can spread without a vaccine and what we can do to keep it from rising in this crisis.
Bloop. See that? That's you. And you have the measles. And those dots around you, they have zero protection against the virus. Science tells us eventually you will infect upwards of 15 other dots, thanks to something known as an R naught. Yep, R naught, a fancy term that tells you how contagious a disease is. The R naught of measles, around 15. The R naught of smallpox, 6. Both are very contagious, but measles remains rare, and no one gets smallpox anymore. Credit the rise of vaccinations, an effective shield against contagion. Maybe a few dots received one, maybe that one didn't. But see what it does to the spread? Now let's take the new coronavirus. Its R naught of 2 or 3 suggests it's not as harmful. But as of now, no one has protection. There is no vaccine. So you and your dot could infect 2 or 3. And those 2 or 3 could infect 4 or 5. And so on and so on. In the U.S., the number of cases is doubling every 3 days. A true case of exponential growth. But let's say you decide to social distance and only infect 1, not 2 or 3. Your neighbor doesn't go to work. Your coworker doesn't hit the park. A stranger stays home. Infections can still happen, but the odds of any one dot infecting 2 or 3 others decreases thanks to distance. The contagion slows. Exponential growth turns into linear growth, if not this. Until there is an effective treatment or a vaccine, physical distancing represents the best odds, say infectious disease experts, one by one, connecting the dots by doing nothing more than disconnecting them.
Well, we are expecting the temperatures to warm back up in the coming days. Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb has the timeline. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing well. You know, we love to see these temperatures warming up, but the only problem with that is that the pollen counts with those warmer temperatures are probably going to start coming up. You can thank the cooler air that we had yesterday and this morning for bringing this number down to 974. That's the lowest count that we have had in a while. In fact, we've gone from the extremely high range to the high range. And the main pollens are pine, oak, sweet gum, sycamore, and willow. Grasses and weeds, not really worried about those right now. The mold is also in the low range. And you can see how we've been dropping this week. If you'll recall, on Sunday, that's when we had our second highest pollen count on record here in Atlanta. Monday went down to 7113, but that was still really high. Tuesday down to just below 3,000, and then 1657 yesterday, and today's count 974. It's not going to keep going down like this. Now that we're in a dry pattern and we see those temperatures warming up, when it gets warmer, that just allows that pollen to disperse and be released a little bit more. So I'm thinking those numbers are going to be coming back up. But enjoy these nice, comfortable temperatures out there while you're sleeping tonight. This is what we're going to see. These temperatures falling down into the 40s during the overnight hours with mainly clear skies. Now, I know you're cooped up at your house. You're trying to school the kids, you're trying to work from home, and you're probably looking for just any reason that you can to get outside. So here's your get outside forecast for tomorrow. Working with the kids, why not schedule a mid-afternoon recess to send the kids out into the backyard? And by 10 o'clock, it'll be warming up to about 54 instead of those 40s like it's going to be early in the morning. How about a backyard lunch? That'll be a good reason to get outside tomorrow. 63 degrees at the noontime hour, and late afternoon, wrapping up the week, maybe that last Zoom call of the day. Try to see if you could take that one outside too. All of your friends, maybe if you're on a Zoom call with people around the country, they'll be jealous at our nice weather, 75 degrees and mostly sunny skies at the 4 o'clock hour. So try to get outside whenever you can tomorrow just to take a break instead of being so cooped up inside. Tomorrow morning, you can see on the forecast track, not much going on here. We're going to see mostly sunny skies, and then at times, especially in the afternoon, a couple of additional clouds will be coming in, mixing in with the sunshine, but they won't give us any rain. Same thing happens on Saturday, where we're going to see just a few more clouds. This is at lunchtime and after, when they might thicken up just a little bit, but still no rain with those either. And then on Sunday, that's where we're going to see only a really low rain chance with a few more clouds around. 76 Saturday, partly cloudy skies, and then on Sunday a few more clouds build in, and we're just going to introduce about a 20% chance for a shower late in the day on Sunday as just a little bit of moisture starts to build in. You can kind of see that on the forecast track. See that? North Georgia late in the day, a couple of spotty showers, and then on Monday a 20% chance for a shower mainly to the north. Tuesday, though, is the day where we have that better chance and better coverage of some of the showers around. So the dry pattern lasts for the next few days. Temperatures in mid-70s, even upper 70s here by Sunday. That low rain chance Sunday, 20% chance also Monday. Then Tuesday, the day with that 40% chance for showers. We'll watch for the potential for some thunder and lightning with that too before the rain chance tapers off on Wednesday to 20%. Then on Thursday, mostly sunny skies, high temperatures right around 79 degrees.
That forecast was looking like a wow, but we have another wow moment of the day. A lot of you sent us pictures of today's sunrise. This picture was sent to us by 11Alive storm tracker Bill Honea. It's a blue and pink streaks in the sky. They're so beautiful to wake up to. Gorgeous picture. Well, we want to see all of your weather wow moments, and the easiest way to share them is on the 11Alive storm trackers Facebook group. All you have to do is request to join the group.
Could anybody have imagined any of this 45 days ago? The impact of COVID-19 is everywhere in our lives. And in the new norm, and that's a phrase we seem to be using a lot of, the new norm of social distancing, we're depending on connection to our devices more than ever before. You know, last week we told you about the virtual ways to stay connected to family and friends, but tonight Liza Lucas looks at the way that employees can stay in touch.
Virtual workouts, book clubs, and town halls, you name it, it's online right now. But how is the 9-to-5 world dealing with social distancing?
I think of all the video conferencing services, Zoom just gets mentioned a lot more because it's easy to use, it's straightforward, they've got a mobile app. Slack is another one where you'd consider your water cooler talk, right? Channels for topics, and people can go in there and subscribe or unsubscribe, and then pay attention to the conversations that make sense.
For those who need to get creative, there are other options.
Businesses are having to learn how to brainstorm without a whiteboard, right? So this is where web-based apps come in. Whiteboard Fox is the simplest. It doesn't require a login and it's free. And then there's more complex and robust whiteboarding tools like Mural.
Mural, a digital whiteboard that lets users add drawings and stickies. But it's more than the corporate world adapting.
We're also seeing some of these concerts and whatnot happening on Instagram. A lot of these applications are starting to be used in ways that maybe they weren't intended originally. For a lot of these companies, it's going to open up new arenas for them that they've never thought of before.
Hey, heads up as you work from home. According to CNBC, about half of large companies use some type of monitoring techniques to keep tabs on their employees. But if you're off the clock and a budding entrepreneur, now could be the time to bring your own vision to reality.
You got nowhere to go, you've got time on your hands, and so you have a great opportunity to launch a new company right now.
Viral claims that elderberry can fight off the coronavirus. Is it true? We verify next.
Taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the
They are popping up all over the place. Claims about what may help you fight off coronavirus or make you more susceptible are spreading all over online. Like elderberry. Have you heard about this one? A lot of people swear by it during colds and flu season, but does it actually put you at greater risk? Our Verify team checks it out.
Social media is full of medical misinformation about COVID-19. That's why the Verify team is here to separate fact from fiction. Some people are putting out a warning about taking elderberry supplements during this pandemic. They say it can mess with your immune system by creating something called a cytokine storm. Sounds ominous. Let's verify. We contacted experts from the George Washington University, the University of Maryland, and the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Two of them have treated cytokine storm themselves. They explain that cytokines are proteins in your body that can cause inflammation. And during one of these cytokine storms, your body goes into an overactive immune system. That can ultimately lead to organ failure. We asked our experts about this 2001 paper many of those online warnings are sourcing as proof. Boiled down, the paper says that when Israeli scientists added elderberry syrup to blood, it stimulated the production of cytokines. But it never mentioned creating the dangerous cytokine storm.
I don't think you can extrapolate a whole lot from that, so I wouldn't be overly concerned.
Our experts said that cytokine storm is typically triggered by autoimmune diseases or an infection, not herbal supplements.
Elderberry can increase inflammatory cytokines in people with a otherwise healthy condition where they are. That's desirable. That helps us fight infections. However, there's no evidence that elderberry would increase the risk of a cytokine storm.
So we can verify. Our experts say that there's just no evidence that they will trigger a cytokine storm and put you at risk during this pandemic.
Lots and lots of information every night. Well, I'm heading out to get ready for Up Late, coming up in about 30 minutes over on 11Alive. So, Jeff, I leave everything to you, coming to us from your home in Midtown.
You know, that's always a scary thought. Leaving anything to me, as my wife will certainly tell you, is a losing proposition, particularly in this home where I am broadcasting from. But it's great to hear your voice, Natisha.
Oh, you too.
And we will look for you on 11Alive coming up in about 35, 40 minutes or so.
Sounds
Here's
good.
what's coming up on the Big 36. We continue to keep you updated on the very latest developments. Governor Kemp is extending the shutdown of K through 12 public schools for the remainder of the academic year. The impact this will have on teachers and parents statewide coming up.
Lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
I want to encourage my fellow Georgians to hang in there. I know that you're tired of this, but we must first overcome the obstacles that we have in our path.
The coronavirus forcing Governor Kemp to take measures to keep Georgians safe. Yesterday, he issued a statewide shelter in place, which goes into effect tomorrow. He also ordered all schools will remain closed for the rest of the academic year. Online learning will continue. Tonight, Morehouse has announced that they are reducing their summer classes. They're moving others to online to protect students and staff from COVID-19 and the pandemic. And the University System of Georgia also saying its schools will remain online throughout the summer for the most part. Now, those announcements come on the heels of the governor's order closing public school campuses through the end of the school year while continuing online learning. The order says it is up to each district to establish the final day, and faculty and staff may be asked to return to campus for essential services. Latasha Givens reached out to some of the biggest districts to find out more about the impact.
We reached out to some of the larger school districts in the metro to find out what the rest of the school year looks like from a logistical standpoint. Some of the plans differ, but one thing remains: teaching and learning continues, just not inside the classroom. During a video press conference, APS Superintendent Maria Kirstoffen says teaching and learning hasn't stopped.
Schools are open. Our teachers are teaching, our leaders are leading, our students are learning.
Kirstoffen says APS has had two main issues during the digital learning days: technology and food service. With technology, it's a matter of having enough learning devices and distributing them inside the homes, and making sure the technology is in sync district-wide. The second, breakfast and lunch for those who need it, both of which she says are primarily resolved. As for what this means for grading GPAs and making it to the next grade,
we dismantled our online testing.
APS says it also plans to issue hero pay to essential employees who have to report on site starting April 13th. We also reached out to the other top districts around the metro. Gwinnett County Schools says it has teams of people working out details like graduation, summer school, and registration. But for now, they sent us a statement reading in part: digital instruction as well as the feeding of children is essential business. We have the means to provide our students with stability in a time of tremendous turmoil, and it is our duty and intent to do so. DeKalb County Schools says it too is working out details, sending us this statement: more information will be forthcoming about the action plans for graduation, grading, promotion and retention, summer learning programs for remediation, enrichment and recovery. We also spoke to the Georgia Department of Education to find out if there would be any uniformity when it comes to plans for the rest of the school year. They told us each district will make their own independent decisions based on their specific needs. We also reached out to Cobb County Schools as well as Clayton County Schools. Once we have their response, we'll put it on our website at 11alive.com.
So as schools are closing their facilities for the remainder of the academic year, although online classes are continuing, it has been a big adjustment, a new norm for parents and for kids. For kids, it's a very, very tough time. It's very hard to just abruptly have their year come to an end, and it can worsen anxiety for children. And that's something psychiatrist Dr. Servant Bargarvi says that we should acknowledge.
I think the important thing is to let kids know that it's okay to be more anxious right now. Another word for anxiety is doubt or uncertainty. And right now there's a lot of both. So by validating that, you're not only opening up lines of communication, but you're helping them release that feeling and let them know that they're not alone, and then let them know that there are ways to manage their anxiety.
If you notice your child is showing signs of anxiousness, the doctor says that parents can strive to keep things as predictable as possible and to make sure that kids feel like they're in control from time to time and they're still connected to everyone.
Right now, there's so much about a child's life that feels very unpredictable. By giving them a schedule, you give them a sense of security. You can involve them in this as well by asking them what they think their schedule should be. It's really important as kids are distancing themselves that they still feel connected to others. FaceTime, texting, emailing, but also writing a letter or a note, maybe to their grandparents.
He also stresses there is one connection you don't want to cut out during this time.
Being emotionally well means staying in touch with your therapist, your counselor, your psychiatrist. This is not the time to isolate. This is the time to be reassured, connected, and to have the tools that you need so you can be emotionally strong.
I have a 17-and-a-half-year-old in my house who certainly is feeling that sense of loss as well, not only about the school year, but about the athletic season too, which the GHSA has canceled as well. Now, we put together a resource guide to help you get through it. You can find it in the As Seen on TV section of the 11Alive app. There's a lot of information to sort through, and we want to give you some of the stories that have been making their way around the information cycle, as we like to say in the journalism business. The Democratic National Convention in Milwaukee in Wisconsin this summer has now been delayed. It is now scheduled for the week of August 17th. Still, it will be in Milwaukee, but this move comes after Joe Biden said he didn't think it was possible to hold a convention in July because of COVID-19. The Republican convention is also scheduled for late August, and it will be not that far away from us, about 3.5 hours by car in Charlotte. The Best Buy off of Sidney Marcus Boulevard temporarily closing its store to customers. Instead, the store is implementing drive-through only service in which customers place an order and then an employee brings it right to the car. If there's a computer you like, you tell them, and then they bring it out to you. The goal is to maintain the social distancing guidelines that have been set, and everybody is trying their very best to adhere to in the merchandising business as well. But according to the manager, is still serving close to about 200 customers per day. The COVID-19 pandemic is leading companies to lay off more than 1,000 people who work at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Companies that employ TSA workers, gate agents, gourmet services, and more, they are all cutting back. And according to our partner, the Atlanta Business Chronicle, the layoffs begin March 22nd and they will run through April 30th. The calendar has been cleared and no after-school activities, as we were talking about, and it's a lot of digital learning for kids. So students of all ages have a lot of time on their hands. That can be good, that can be bad. Here's Matt Pearl with more.
Perhaps you've noticed, as I have, an increase in flower photos on your timelines. Perhaps it's because the coronavirus outbreak has so many seeking reminders of simple, unfiltered beauty and finding them when they take walks around their neighborhoods and go out of their homes. But what about those who can't go out?
People can't really see them, or they're, going to FaceTime.
Braxton Chadwick is a senior in high school. Next fall, he'll head to Savannah State. And right now,
I have nothing but time on my hands, so why not provide a little joy?
Braxton thought about two other seniors. There's his grandmother in an assisted living facility, who he only sees now through a screen. And then there's his grandfather, who runs a greenhouse in Ackworth with a month's worth of flowers whose orders were canceled.
Thousands of flowers looking good for no one right now. So I was like, hey, do you mind if I get them from you and then I can do what I want with them? And he's like, go for it.
Braxton started Bloom to a Room. People can donate a flower. Braxton will drop them off outside nursing homes around the area. The first batch went Wednesday to his grandmother's facility.
We gave him one for every room. One of the ladies who works at the front desk, she got to give everyone their meal that night and add a little something to it with the flower.
Braxton's goal, 2,500 deliveries of flowers from a senior in high school to senior citizens region-wide.
So this is a way, to say, hey, we're not really forgetting about you, we're just outside.
Well, there are a lot of examples of communities coming together so that, not everyone feels isolated. And our photojournalist, Tyson Paul, who does such a terrific job for us, has a look at Brookhaven as that small community in Atlanta, in the Atlanta area, is coming together.
We are trying to support the idea that we're all united right now. even though we are social distancing, that we still see our neighbors and interact with people. And even if we're just waving hi from the sidewalk, it's still something that's good that we're doing.
Something different that we can get out and do and get out of the house and just kind of see and wave to our neighbors and feel a little normal again.
I think people are going back to the way things used to be, and that's a good thing. We have enjoyed being able to see some of the children. In 10, 15 years, their kids are going to reflect on this time.
By having positive events, it helps us to all connect with each other, and I think that's what we were looking for, essentially.
It's great to see the country pulling together and with the same goal in mind, to get everybody free of this curse.
I think we're seeing a lot of communities all around Atlanta Metro coming together like that to try and buoy each other. 8 Marta employees have tested positive for COVID-19. Next, what the company is doing to ensure the safety of future passengers.
Yesterday was cool. This morning started off cool. Now we're watching that cooler air retreating, moving up to the north and east, and that opens the door for the return of warm air. Stay with us. We'll let you know if that'll persist with us through the weekend.
Coming up, high school sports officially over for the year. What options did the GHSA look through about moving around schedules and eligibility? You'll find out next, coming up in sports.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside work?
It's quite a sight. Many Atlantans never thought they would see it in their lifetime. The city's normally packed freeways, interstates, connecting roads all empty, and all week I've been sharing these photos from William Cross on my Facebook page, Jeff Hollinger 11Alive. Check him out. I ran into him at Candler Park maybe about 8 or 9 months ago. He lives in Druid Hills, a retired attorney. He says, I've got this drone. I like to take pictures. Can I send you some? And maybe you can put them on television or put them on your social media page. And he has been sending me these extraordinary pictures. Check him out. I've been putting them on each and every day. I'll put on some tomorrow as well. But he's something. He's got quite a talent there as a hobbyist. All right, there are some who have a job to do, and a job is to be out on the empty roads each and every day. And these are people that are essential businesses that keep us going and flowing despite COVID-19. And their impact is even bigger because many employees that they work with are having to quarantine themselves. So they have this job they do and trying to get around the other sort of sidebar facts of their lives. As Reveal investigator Faith Abube reports, a video of a packed bus has one rider asking, while Marta juggles safety for bus drivers, shouldn't they make some essential changes to make sure that passengers are safe too?
Riders on Marta Bus 124, too close for comfort in the age of social distancing.
Whoa!
Sauda Silvera is among the riders packed in the back of this bus.
We're toppling on each other. I don't know if you washed your hands or if you got hand sanitizer or who you interacted with or you touched something. I don't know. You're too close to me. I have no choice now.
Silvera works in security and is an essential worker. She says she's been riding on the route for 3 years to get to work. It's always busy, but she expected more space in the wake of the city of Atlanta's social distancing order.
I am very concerned.
Marta says it's taking precautions, boarding passengers through the back door and suspending bus fares to limit contact. They've also put a barrier between the drivers and the riders. And with demand and revenue down, bus service is also reduced by about 30%.
Really think it through when you was like, okay, we're just going to go ahead and load everybody to the back. I don't think people realize how many essential workers there are, meaning from, janitors to the hospital, people who work in the hospital.
We showed the video to Marta Chief of Bus Operations, Conley Greenwood.
That's factual, that's inarguable, and it was shocking. But it's a classic example of what I was just talking about, where despite the fact that the operator is empowered to make these decisions, we still have a case in point where the system failed.
Greenwood says even though fewer people are riding the bus, some routes are still seeing a lot of traffic. To address it, Marta has given bus drivers more power to enforce social distancing.
When the bus is at 50%, they'll call the BCC, the Bus Control Center. Bus Control Center will dispatch a new vehicle to get behind that bus and pick up for them. And that bus, as the crowding levels exceed 50% and approach 60 or 70%, they will then flip their destination sign on to read that the bus is full.
So far, it hasn't been perfect, but Marta says it's constantly adjusting.
We are committed to continuous improvement.
And that is good news for Silvera and other essential workers still riding the bus to work.
I want some reassurance, too, as well, that whoever is in charge is also looking out for our well-beings, too.
Marta is urging passengers that if you're getting ready at one of the bus stops to get on a bus, you see it's crowded, you see that there isn't the proper social distancing, to wait. Be patient, wait on the next bus where there will, in all probability, be more room for you. So from buses, we talk about the Marta Trains, and they will continue to operate on a weekend schedule, but they will start at their regular weekday time to go along with the bus service. Due to extremely low ridership, the Mercedes-Benz State Farm Arena GWCC rail station will remain closed until further notice. Now, there's also been some concern in Cobb County. The Cobb Link buses, Faith reached out to the county and was told in the next day or two they will be instituting rear entrance only and exit on their buses. So that will be one way to try to keep people a safe distance. They've also taped off some of the seats to encourage social distancing and posted signage to remind passengers of the importance of all of that. Well,
we had a chilly start out there this morning with temperatures that were right at 40 degrees, and that was below where we should be for this time of year. We should be around 48 for this time of year, but we started off at 40. But then look what happened this afternoon. We topped off at 69 degrees. That's exactly where we should be for this time of year. 69 is the average high for today's date. And the record 88, so we were well below that, and still no rain. And we can afford a few dry days because we have this big-time surplus. We're still about a foot above where we should be in rainfall so far for the year. Here's what we're watching in the hour-by-hour outlook tomorrow. It's going to be another really nice day. Plenty of sunshine. There will be just a few clouds that will mix in at times during the day. By lunchtime, we're going to be up to around 65 to 67, 74 to 75 in the afternoon, and a pretty nice night out there tomorrow night as well. So it's a good opportunity to get outside and try to soak things up a little bit and take an extended break away from the computer or away from the kids' schoolwork. We're going to be staying dry for the next few days, and we're still seeing those temperatures after we had that little cold snap where yesterday we were below average in the afternoon as well. We're a little warmer. We're going to be above average for the next few days, and then we're going to wait for some showers. That'll be moving our way once we head into next week. So the wasometer number for tomorrow is going to be a 10. This is our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect 11-alive day. Just shy of that is we're going to see a few more clouds that'll be mixing in with the sunshine, and those temperatures also just a little bit above the average. Here's the forecast track. This is tomorrow morning where we're looking good. We're going to see plenty of sunshine around, just mixing in with a few clouds at times. Then on Saturday, we're also going to be watching out to the west as a few clouds start to move back into our area. It'll be a cool start on Saturday morning, but then a mixture of sunshine and clouds in the afternoon, but no rain out of that. The rain looks like it's going to hold off until late Sunday over parts of far north Georgia. You can see Saturday we're dry, and then you see that just a little bit of shower activity late Saturday. And then Sunday, a 20% chance for a shower north. It's going to be Tuesday when we see those rain chances. That'll be a little bit higher. We'll see a little better coverage of showers too. Dry really through the weekend with temperatures really comfortable, mid to upper 70s. Only a 20% chance for a shower late Sunday, also Monday. Tuesday's the day with the 40% chance for showers, tapering back off to a 20% chance Wednesday, and then dry again on Thursday. Another 10 on the wasometer with high temperatures near 80.
All right, we have talked about the academic year coming to an end for Georgia high schools as by the announcement of Governor Kemp yesterday. Today, the GHSA made it official, but Alex Glaze caught up with Director Robin Hines to find out what options they looked at and what decisions are up next.
I will sign an executive order today closing K through 12 public schools for the rest of the school year.
Once Governor Brian Kemp closed schools, the GHSA didn't have much choice.
We felt like this was coming, from a long time ago.
The GHSA officially announced Thursday that spring sports were canceled for the rest of the school year.
It's a sad situation, and it's disappointing. We all understand that.
While he had planned for a return to sports, Dr. Robin Hines said playing beyond graduation just wasn't an option after the governor's order.
But now we've reached the point to where we're not coming back. Graduation's going to happen. Those kids are gone. I mean, it's done. We can't get a season in a month.
Venue changes, ticket sales, and most importantly, safety created too many obstacles. But what about extra eligibility for those who will be around after their 8 semesters of eligibility?
Other kids that have been there waiting their turn, that if a bunch of people go and decide to stay and all that, it's going to take their opportunity away from them as well.
Now the focus is on to summer, when football workouts and multiple sports would hold tryouts for the fall.
How far can we go on where, Kids are not participating in summer workouts, in the weight room, getting strong, being in shape. When does that become an issue? When does that become a safety issue? What is the season going to look like if we have to push it back?
So at a time when there are no sports on the field, then you have to begin to lean on esports. And as you might expect, it is booming right now. Alex Glaze continues as he talks about it being a top form of entertainment.
The sports world has turned to gaming to engage with their audience. NASCAR has turned to iRacing to give racing fans their fix of races and to have drivers compete. NBA players are playing in a players-only NBA 2K tournament that will be televised. Hawks point guard Trae Young will be participating in the tournament.
This ATL, we all got to stick together, so of course we behind Trae 1,000%.
Those are just a couple of examples of how the sports world has turned to esports during the coronavirus. Wesley Akoff is the head coach and general manager of the Hawks NBA 2K team. He says the beautiful thing about esports is that people can connect without being face-to-face, but he's surprised at how big gaming has become over the past couple of weeks.
It is a bit surprising. Like, you see more people showing interest that probably didn't have the time or the attention to dedicate to understanding the gaming world, but it is cool to see more people kind of paying attention to what we do for a living professionally and to have those new eyeballs on it.
While the rest of the sports world is on hold, the 2K League has been able to continue with players gaming remotely.
It's the thing that's keeping us going right now. We obviously love what we do. We love being on the game, being like face-to-face in the competitive atmosphere in our sport, but just the environment's changed a little bit where we have to play remotely.
You can watch the 2K League on Twitch.
All right, that is it for sports. We take a break. We'll wrap things up right after this.
Message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies.
I thought, well, this would be a wonderful time with kids having to be stuck at home with their parents and parents being stuck with their kids.
It all began tonight. Dolly Parton helping tuck your kids in with a bedtime story. We have a link to Good Night with Dolly in the As Seen on TV section of the 11Alive app. Maybe we need to get her to be here to say good night before the 10 o'clock news. That's it for us. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. 11alive.com, your place for all the news.
Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear.
From 11Alive News, Up Late starts now. Major developments in the COVID-19 outbreak tonight, waiting on stimulus checks and preparing to shelter in place. Georgia unemployment claims skyrocket. All of this as Governor Kemp lays out his drastic plan